Hey everybody, this one we'll talk about how to clone a boot drive on your computer. Let's say, for example, you have a laptop or a desktop and you're wanting to upgrade it from an old-fashioned hard disk drive to a solid-state drive. Solid-state drives are getting dirt cheap these days. This is a procedure that you would use to copy your data off of your boot drive to your new SSD or hard drive before you install it permanently into your computer. Now, if you have a desktop PC, you could theoretically just install the new drive alongside your existing hard drive, and you could actually copy your files that way. Or if you're using a laptop, and or if you don't want to open up your desktop and your desktop doesn't offer an extra hard drive bay, you could use something like this. This right here is a USB 3 to ID/SATA adapter, and this also comes with a power supply unit that you plug into your wall, and it provides power to either a 4-pin Molex or a SATA power connection. So the way this would work is you would plug, for example, with a SATA hard drive or a SATA SSD, you would take your new SSD with the included SATA cable that comes with this product, plug it into this, plug your power into the SSD, and attach this to your computer. That way your drive would be installed. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're using the Computer Plexi because I'm actually doing this on the Plexi. I have the new SSD just simply plugged up to the Plexi since I have this system set up to do hard drive backup. So it was just a piece of cake. Just hook up the SATA cable and a power connection, and it picks it right up like a removable device. So in your case, you're going to probably be using this, or you're going to probably install your new drive alongside your old drive in your desktop system. Some products out there, SSDs and hard drives, particularly retail products, they'll come with a piece of software, or they'll come with a key or a license alert where you can download something like a Cronus True Image or something like that. But there's also free software you can simply download. And the one we'll be using in this video is called Minitool Partition Wizard. This is a free download you can get off the internet. And this is a very powerful partition utility. You can use it to do a lot of different things with drives. But for the sake of this video, we'll be using it to do a simple drive clone. Alright, so we're going to launch this software, and you can see we have our existing drive. Now, in the case of this hard drive, what we're doing is we are actually going to be going down from a 1 terabyte hard drive to a 240 gig SSD. Yeah, it seems kind of extreme. Truth is, I am actually going to set up the system with a separate hard drive for files, and we're just using the SSD for the OS. So if we go to do a drive copy task right now, and if I select our source, it's going to try to do its own little resizing, and I don't much like the way it does it. And of course, it doesn't give you the option to copy partitions without resize because, well, you simply can't do that. It has to resize them. So what we're going to do is we'll take note of our our new drive. We're going to resize this partition. So we're going to just move it down to a pretty small size here, and we'll select OK on that. And then this one right here, we're going to right click and choose Move/Resize. We're just going to move it all the way to the left. Select OK. And now what we can do is do a copy disk task. We'll select our source, and we'll select our destination. Now we can choose copy partitions without resize. We'll select next. And we'll select finish. And then what we will do is we'll just select this drive here, kind of do reverse order. We're going to move this partition out to the far right. Select OK. Now we're going to take this one and we're going to resize it, stretch it out, select OK. And now that's how the final product will look. And on top of that, we want to go ahead and remove the drive letters from the system reserved and this third partition over here. The main partition, we do want to keep a drive letter on. So we're going to change letter, set it to none, and repeat the following for this one here. Change letter, none. Okay, I know that seemed like a lot of steps, but it's really not that bad. If you're in the fortunate situation where your source hard drive is the same size as your new hard drive or SSD, or the source drive is actually smaller, then you want to do as many steps. But the key thing is we want to copy the partitions over, and we want to keep the system reserved partition and this partition here the same. Now this setup is actually a MBR setup because this computer does not have a UEFI firmware. It has a classic BIOS, so it boots across. It boots using a master boot record, traditional master boot record. Whereas newer computers that have UEFI firmware in Windows 8, Windows 10, and Windows 11, they're usually set up using GPT, where the OS boots a bit differently. So the partitions on a GPT volume will be a little different, but the process overall is pretty much the same. Okay, so when we go to apply this, it's going to tell us that we are going to have to restart the PC, because this is something it simply has to do when we are copying the partition that the OS is on. So we'll go and restart, and I'll keep the camera rolling, that way you can watch what it does. Now, I should mention the computer, you won't be able to use it during this time period. So what it's going to do is it's going to actually boot back into Windows on the drive it's going to copy off of. And it's going to give you a brief moment to cancel the process. So now it's going to begin copying the partitions off of the boot drive over to the SSD. And this may take a while depending on how many files you have and how big the drive is, and also the performance of the hard drive itself. So currently it's actually resizing the partition. It's doing the earlier steps. So it's resizing that partition, and it's going to copy those partitions over to the solid state drive. And then once it copies them over, it's going to resize them back. And once that's all done, the computer's going to restart again, and it's going to actually start into the existing drive, not the new drive. Maybe it could start in the new drive. It really depends. Now, if your drive is hooked up via this device, then no, it generally will not start off of this. It will probably blue screen if it did try. So we'll let this complete. Okay, so the system has restarted. Let's go ahead and log back in. Okay, so for example, everything looks kind of weird right now because, well, I got some stuff missing off here. Because I literally had just copied all the documents, the pictures, the music, the videos, and everything to an alternate location to scale down the size of the C drive. That's something I'm going to have to talk about in a future video on how that works for those who aren't familiar. But we can go in here to computer, and we can see that our SSD is right there. I'll pull up Disk Manager just to give you a better idea. Okay, so down here is our new boot drive. It's not currently booted off of that right now. It actually still booted off the hard disk drive. But what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pull the I'll go ahead and shut everything down, and I'll go ahead and pull the SATA connection on the main hard drive and have it boot off of this SSD just for demonstration. Okay, so now I got the new SSD in place of the existing hard drive. Hard drive still bolted in there, but I got the SATA power and SATA data connections swapped over to the SSD. So we're going to start this back up. And let's see how this thing runs with the SSD. Should be noticeably faster. There we are. It is the first time actually starting up on the SSD, so. And of course, performance will vary depending on what else you have in your system. So now it's actually running off of the solid state drive that we just copied files over to. So the hard drive is now disconnected. It's not even powered up. It's running solely off that SSD. So this comes to show after you copy over your files, or you copy over the partition, you would then swap over the new drive in place of the old drive, and that'll be pretty much it. But I'm also going to cover file. Let's say, for example, if you have files, you got a lot of files on your C drive, and you want to go to an SSD, but you would rather not have to spend extra on a larger SSD, and you'd rather be able to keep your hard drive or have a different hard drive for your files. That's something I will cover in a future video. But anyways, we are now running on the new SSD. I'm going to shut it back down for tonight because we're doing some other stuff to this machine. So anyways, that wraps it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that wraps it up for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to Computer channel, and be sure to tick the bell. That way you get notified of new video posts. Also, I recommend following Computer Company on Facebook. A link is in the video description. In addition to computer tech videos, I have a second channel, CubeCompMTDX. Links are available at the end of this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching and your support.